The Green Bay Packers are on the hunt for a defensive tackle, and this search is about more than just filling a roster spot. It's a critical need that could define their season. With struggles against the run haunting them last year, the Packers are looking for a run-stopping two-gap option that can solidify their defensive front. Let's take a closer look at the situation. The Packers are transitioning to a 3-4 base defense, which means they need a robust nose tackle to anchor that front. Currently, the projected starter is undrafted free agent Nazir Stackhouse, which raises eyebrows, especially with Jordan Riley still recovering from a season-ending Achilles injury. The reliance on edge rushers, linebackers, and safeties to make plays was not only a short-term fix. It exposed significant vulnerabilities in the defensive scheme. In light of these concerns, the Packers have hosted Kristen Miller, a former Georgia Bulldogs defensive tackle, for a 30 visit. At 321 pounds, Miller has the size needed to fill the role of a nose tackle in the NFL, showcasing his elite run-stopping abilities. However, the red flags are there. He's a developing pass rusher with limited production to show from his college days. Notably, he did not participate in athletic testing at the NFL Combine nor at Georgia's Pro Day, focusing instead on positional drills. This decision raises questions about his overall readiness to impact the NFL level right away. Miller's career at Georgia saw him develop into a full-time starter only in 2024, after spending his initial seasons as a reserve. In that season, he logged 27 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks across 12 games, showcasing potential but still failing to light up the stat sheet. Fast forward to his redshirt junior year, and while he set career highs in several categories, his performance, though improved, still left fans wanting more. With 23 tackles and 4 tackles for loss in 14 games, he ranked third among qualified defensive tackles with an 88.1 run defense grade. Certainly promising, but how does that translate to the big leagues? Critics have pointed out that while Miller can rattle pads and gain early advantages at the point of attack, he lacks the mass of a true space eater. His ability to hold his ground against double teams is questionable at best, which could be a liability for a team that has struggled against the run. Miller's lateral movement is described as average, and while he shows awareness of play design and hustle across gaps, the consistency required to be a dominant force in the trenches is still in question. In short, while there are aspects of Miller's game that suggest he could develop into a solid starter for the Packers, it's clear that he is not a finished product. Green Bay is in a precarious position. Do they take a chance on a developing prospect like Miller, or do they keep searching for that proven run stopper who can immediately shore up the defensive front? As we transition to our next story, the pressure is mounting on the Packers to make the right moves in the offseason. Decisions like these could very well dictate whether Green Bay remains a contender or struggles to keep pace in a competitive NFC North. The developments in the coming weeks will be crucial. Stay tuned. In a league where every decision is magnified, the Green Bay Packers' decision to let Micah Hyde walk in 2017 stands as a stark reminder of the thin line between brilliance and oversight. This isn't just a story of a player who thrived after leaving Green Bay. It's a cautionary tale that resonates deeply in the hearts of Packers fans. Back in 2017, as Ted Thompson was nearing the end of his tenure as GM, the Packers made what many now view as a monumental error in judgment. Hyde, a fifth-round pick who had proven his worth in various roles, was allowed to sign with the Buffalo Bills for a mere 5-year, $30.5 million contract. Since then, he has established himself as one of the league's premier safeties, earning the honor of being a second-team All-Pro twice, including in his very first year away from Green Bay. At the time, the Packers felt confident in their secondary. They had the promising Ha-Ha Clinton Dix, the veteran Morgan Burnett, and the raw potential of Demarius Randall, alongside a fresh draft pick in Kevin King. It seemed logical to the decision-makers that Hyde, who had been largely a backup, could be replaced. But the reality of the NFL is that talent often transcends the depth chart, and Hyde's versatility, capable of playing safety, nickel corner, and even returning punts, was clearly an underappreciated asset. John Eric Sullivan, who was the director of college scouting at the time, has since recognized the miscalculation. "We screwed it up," he admitted, a sentiment that echoes the frustration of many in the Packers community. This wasn't just a momentary lapse. It was a fundamental misjudgment of Hyde's potential impact. one that has haunted Sullivan in his current role as the GM of the Miami Dolphins. What makes this situation even more painful for Packers fans is the reality that Hyde has not only succeeded but thrived in Buffalo, becoming a cornerstone of their defense. While Green Bay has its fair share of talent, the absence of Hyde's playmaking ability has been felt, especially in critical moments where defensive cohesion and versatility have faltered. It's easy, in retrospect, to point fingers, but the Packers should learn from this experience rather than dwell solely on the past. The NFL is about evolving, and recognizing where mistakes were made is the first step toward improvement. What does this mean for the Packers going forward? It's essential they not only develop their talent, but also find ways to retain it. The league is unforgiving, and missing out on a player of Hyde's caliber can leave a mark that's hard to erase. As we reflect on this saga, it's a reminder that every decision counts, and the Packers must be vigilant in guarding their talent. The lessons learned from Hyde's departure should fuel a renewed focus on player retention and development. After all, the foundation of a successful franchise lies in its ability to recognize and cultivate the gems that come through its doors. So where do we stand now? With the season underway and the stakes higher than ever, the Packers need to channel the lessons of the past into a future where talent is not just identified but cherished. As fans, we can only hope that the organization has taken this to heart and will avoid similar mistakes as they build toward their next championship run. As we wrap up this discussion, it's time to hear from you, the most passionate supporters of the Green Bay Packers. What are your thoughts on the Hyde situation? How do you feel about the team's decisions moving forward? Make sure to subscribe and share your opinions in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going about our beloved Packers.